This tutorial is the first of a series on basic editing in Movie Maker, brought to you by myvideoproblems.com. We need to have Movie Maker open and previously captured DVAVI files in the Collections window. Now, you may not have the timeline view as shown here. You might have the storyboard view. If you have, click on the button which says Show Timeline. Then, to expand the video track, click on the plus button here, which gives us the transition track and the audio track for the video file. The first thing we need to do is get the clip down onto the timeline. So we left click and hold and drag the clip until we're over the video track and let go. Movie Maker inserts the clip for us. This clip now looks quite short, although if we look here just under the preview window, it tells us it's actually nearly 2 minutes long. The reason is we are zoomed quite out on the timeline. We can zoom into the timeline to get a better view of the clip. To do that, we can either click on the plus magnifying glass here or use the keyboard shortcut Page Down. So we'll just zoom in until that virtually fills the timeline that we can see on the screen. To find an edit point, we can use the timeline marker to roughly the point that we need to make a split. The timeline marker is always at the very beginning to start with, and we just left click and hold on the blue top and drag it to the left. Now, to start with, we'll just find a rough point where we want to make the cut, which is about there. To make that point more accurate, we'll zoom right in as far as we can. So you can either click on the plus magnifying glass or use the keyboard shortcut Page Down. You'll come to a point where the magnifying glass is greyed out, and that's as far as you can zoom in. So we'll go back to the timeline marker and move it until we come to the point we want to make the split at, which is there. To split the clip, we go Clip and Split. You can also use the keyboard shortcut Ctrl and L. As you can see, the clip has now been cut into two. The first portion of this clip we don't need. So, to get rid of it, we can either left click on it and use the keyboard Delete key, or right click on it and choose Delete. Movie Maker automatically moves the clip that's left onto the timeline to the very beginning. We'll now zoom back out to roughly find the next edit point. I was using the keyboard shortcut Page Up. Left click and hold the timeline marker again and drag till you come to the point, the rough point you want to make the cut at. And again, keyboard shortcut Page Down, zoom back in, then drag the timeline marker to find the point you want to make your cut at, which will be there. I'm going to use the keyboard shortcut Ctrl and L, and there we have our next split. We zoom back out and then find the next rough edit point, which will be just before the tractor starts moving. So let's go back a little bit. So about there, let's zoom back in. And there we go, it's starting to move. So just before it moves there, keyboard shortcut Ctrl and L to split, left click on the portion we don't want, keyboard key Delete to remove it. Movie Maker joins up the two clips for us. We zoom back out using Page Up and quickly find the next edit point, which is just about there. Zoom back in, get that edit point more accurately, and Ctrl and L to split. We don't need any of the movie from the after that cut. So just left click and press the keyboard delete key to remove it. When we delete these portions of the clips from the timeline, we aren't actually removing any of the DVAVI file that you've captured. We are just making references to points that we do want that Movie Maker to actually use. So if you wanted to use that portion that you've just removed, you could drag the clip back down and set new reference points to it so that you could use it again. I'm now going to drag this second clip down onto the timeline, so left click and hold, drag it down to the video track and let go. I know I want to use all of this clip, but I don't think it's quite in the right place. If we just zoom out so we can see all three clips, we've got a clip of the mower, a clip of the mower being used, a clip of the mower. What we really need is for this clip, and the third one, to be between these two. It's quite easy to do that. All we need to do is left click and hold and drag it down to the position we want. So we drag down to the edit point there and let go, and Movie Maker automatically inserts it for us. You can't insert it into a clip that's not been split. So if you want to put it somewhere, you must make that split first. Now we'll add a couple of transitions to those edit points just to tidy them up a bit. So click on Video Transitions up here on the left, and that displays all our transitions in the window here. I'm going to click on the Fade transition, which I'll use, and again to insert it you just left click and hold and drag it down to the insert point here, and Movie Maker automatically moves the second clip over the top of the first one, inserts the transition, and we can click on play to view what it looks like, which is all fine. We'll add another transition to the second edit point, and I think I'll use a wipe. Now you may notice that these are all arranged in alphabetical order, so if you know the name of them, they're quite easy to find quickly. So left click and hold, drag it down to the edit point and let go. Movie Maker inserts it for us. If we want to make this transition a little longer or shorter, the best thing to do is to zoom in to the timeline again, then click on the transition, and you'll notice on the left hand side here you've got a little black arrow. If you move the cursor over that, you get the double-headed red arrow, and now you can either make the transition shorter by dragging to the right, or drag it out to the left to make it a little bit longer. We can then just drag the timeline marker a bit, give us a bit of lead in, click the play button, and let's see how that looks. There we go, that's perfect. Now that is the first in the Editing Movie Maker tutorials brought to you by myvideoproblems.com.